Good morning. So we start with DXY, like usually, a lot of development to speak about this week. I wanted to start again with a weekly chart, like always. I take a weekly or monthly. We can look at the monthly, but it's more or less the same thing. And I have this big trend line here. So if we go a little bit deeper inside, we see that this this trend line is important because we stopped right on it on the first spike up of the DXY. So we had this move down, we have the first move up, and now we are in the second move up. Okay, so I keep that one here because if we look inside even on the weekly, we see how we have been stopped right on it on the way up after breaking the first time the 2360 fib. So concerning last week moves, we have a nice bullish candle on last week, a big nice green candle. And more important than this big green candle, we have broken and closed above and now opening above the 2360 fib. So this fib is very important because it measures this move down, and that's what we have been using since the last weeks, even months, when we went long here on a black level. So the fact that we closed above and that we broke it is opening for us the next target, which is the 38.2 fib here at 94.45. I just want to show again this trend line. I have two trend lines because there is two options there, so that gives an area where we can expect the price to come back. So the first attempt above the 2360 fib here was stopped by this trend line. Then we came back hardly inside, and we are now on the second attempt to go higher. First impulsive move. We have here consolidation, and we started last week the second leg of this impulsive move up, and that's confirmed with this weekly close. It's not only this fib close which is important. I have another fib on this chart, which is my blue fib here. If I take up the red and just put the blue is measuring this move down, the last move down from here, September 2020. Can put it a little bit better here. I will lock it. So, okay, now it's locked. So that's what we are measuring here. And why I want to show this one too is because we close for the first time above it. And you see how hard it has been to close above it. So we have two important close this week, calling for the next level. And that's bullish, of course, for the USD. So we will go up and we should see the next level we will speak about now in details. I go back on my red fib. And if we go on a smaller time frame to speak about those fib, so we broke above the 2360 and the 21.4. We have been holding inside here. It's a very important of support and resistances. And you see how the 61.8 has been holding the price in many occasions, here, there, in many occasions. So it's important that we are just above it now. The other thing we can use intraday is those double daily support we have there. So if we look at the daily chart, you will see immediately why I have those two lines here, and I have used them last week to be short or long. So you see it's the those body here of those two candles that gave us that defined a nice area of support and resistances. If we look on smaller time frame, you see how it has been used here, how it has been used in many occasions during this consolidation we have down there. So on an intraday base, it's very possible we come back there and bounce from here, or even on this trend line, or even to the 61.8 that has been used a lot in last week. So that's several options. We can even come a little bit deeper on that daily 50% of this big candle that I have here. So that's very possible that intraday or even intra-week, we can come back in this area up to this 2360 fib and then bounce from here. That's what I'm expecting to see this week, unless we just accelerate and broke above. Normally, after this weekly candle we had, we should see a little bit of pullback, and we should pump in some momentum on this pullback, and then we could run for the next, the second part of this move. So what we look for now is this big ABC that I have used and spoken many times last week. I will take off the blue fib. So it's this ABC here. So the first impulsive move, then we have the consolidation, and then we are starting now the second impulsive move. So it's the dotted line you see here. And you see how I define this one. I use Fibonacci candle. You take this move up and you get the ABC. It's important because this ABC has proven to be very, let's say, accurate or well defined. How can I say that? I will take off the red fib to make it cleaner. If we look only at the ABC, you see how we have been respecting the 2360 fib in many times. And you see how we have been stopped on the 50% on Friday, and even in the past times here, there, here again. So we have a lot of reaction we have some good reaction on the 38.2 in many occasions, and this 2360. So for me, this ABC is valid and is nice to be used. Perhaps we can just make some small adjustment and put here the start of it, but that will not change a lot what we look for. So what we look for on a smaller time frame and with our well-defined fib, the next target is a 61.8 here at 93.04 that I've been seeing calling for the last weeks. And then the big one will be the 93.81, and that would 98, sorry, and that would correspond to this big trend line area. So when we will get there, for sure there will be a reaction. If we broke above it, which is possible during the summer holidays, we could see the 1272, and what we see here, we have the big 38.2 on the way, which is the fib of the 236 here. So this area will definitely be very important, starting from the 1-to-1 to the 38.2 here, if we get there. It's possible on ABC, the two first important target is the 61.8 and then the 1-to-1. So it's possible we stopped on them, and it's possible that this impulsive move will be done there. So starting here, I will start to get long, a little bit massively long Euro USD, because surely we will have some good bounce on the Euro USD and some good pullbacks on the DXY, probably to the 50% from there, perhaps even deeper to the 23.6, and then bounce again if we go higher. So it will be very important to look at that and see what's happening. And we are still in this kind of upside flag, of course, and we can bottom again in this area. You see it has been working quite nicely here. So we have this area that is defined, but what I use is the fib ABC, or the big fib we have there. If we look on the other chart of the DXY, that's the chart where we have the black and green levels. So we see how those levels has been working nicely till now, using the black level here a lot. Those big black levels are very important, and they were in confluence with the 2360 fib, as you can see here. That's the fib I just showed you, the red one on the other chart. This is a 61.8 I spoke about, which is the weekly move that we have been measuring. And now you have the 50% ABC, which is the one I just showed you. So I report on this chart the most important fib I have on the other one. And here we see everything. What we can look at now is we are building slowly but nicely a short setup on the most important indicator I use, which is the price 6. So weekly is already starting to be built. We have the 4 hours here 15 minutes, 1 hour, but soon we should get something like this or something like that, and then we will see there a bigger correction or a start. You see how those things work nicely, and you get a correction or start to move down. So we'll see what we get here. We have everything to get good levels. You see now we are 15 minutes before the London Open, sorry, and we are pushing a little bit. We have a 15 minute here. Let's go to the 15-minute chart. So what we could expect now with this 15 minute and probably a 1 hour to come is this green level. If we break a little bit above this green level at 92.78, 92.79 could give us a first pullback inside. We come back and then we would go on. Second thing I want to show you, which is not a chart, but which is this thing here. It's my dashboard. I use it a lot because here I have all my important indicator, price 6, RS6, and the 2 stochastics, fast and slow. If you want, you have here the parameters of those indicators, and I have that from 15 minutes to weekly, the time frame I like. So what do we see here? We see many CAD are giving very, very, very strong printing, like 100, 199, 97, 92. I can tell you USD CAD will pull back today or later tomorrow, but that's clear. And you see we have that on other pairs like the Euro CAD here. We have some good thing, but the strongest one is from far away, the USD CAD. And we have here a lot of signal already present, 15 minutes, 1 hour, 4 hours, and daily. And here you have the complete signal from 15 minutes to weekly. So we can expect there a big move, and you see a big move, at least a nice pullback. Sorry, not necessarily very big, but a nice pullback or more. And if we look at the CAD, I took a little bit of CAD long this morning because we should see the second leg on it. But this dashboard is very nice, very important, because you can see very quickly where to look at and in which direction, whatever the trend is, this thing will pull back today. I can tell it to you. So if we want just to finish with the USD CAD, and I will make another video later for the Euro USD. Let me find here. Okay, USD CAD. So that's the chart I had posted many times when we took a long right here. We have been calling from this long at 120.04. You can see that on the Twitter feed. So it's very easy to find the calls we did. So we see we bounce from it. We could have gone up to the bottom. If we look on the weekly, let me first put this big thing on the weekly. We have this channel down, and what happened here, we bounced right from the 50% because we had here a very strong setup, exactly like the setup we have now on the USD CAD. So we bounced from it, from the 50% fib. What do we have next is the 126.64, which is what the value I was calling this morning. And this one, oh, look, we are right, not far from it now. And this one will provide a reaction. And when you remember what you saw on the dashboard, we have a very strong tight price action here that we should see a pullback. I don't know up to where to. Probably this area could be a good place to get a target here. That's possible. I've not prepared that before I did this video, but it's very possible we get this a pullback to this area, and then perhaps a continuation or something like this. But that's what we are. Sorry, that's what we are looking at now, and this thing is really going to offer something. And if we look on the other chart of the USD CAD, we have there a green and black level at the same place. So big fib coming, very strong short setup on the dashboard. So for sure, we will see something happening in this area, perhaps a spike up to the top of this channel. That's possible too. We can see that the top of this channel has never been really touched yet. So I should even move it a little bit here. Even better. Look at that. So my channel had moved. So if we take this channel, I will lock it here. You see this channel with those bottom here. We see that. Let me adjust it again. We see that. Okay. So here is fine. Okay, that's what I remember now. Okay, it's perfect. We have it. Very good. So if we look at this channel, we could, as I said, if we do not react straight on this fib, we could just spike a little bit above to this top and then come back inside. But what is sure is that this fib will give some reaction now, soon, or a little bit later, but we will see something very interesting there. You see the mid channel has been working nicely here. You see the 38.2 fib has been acting very strongly here on this pullback inside the fib, and then that's when we had this leg down. So let's see what we get. And by the way, if we would just touch it, come back here, and then go for the second part, that's what we call a cup and handle. So we could very well have an handle here and then break higher or go lower. But that's for a longer term view. So now we are right now on this fib, and I will take a short very soon.